What's up, desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and we are back with another video. And today I'm doing my review of the 2021 Arnold Classic Prejudging. It appears to be a battle between Nick Walker and Steve Kuclo. They were in the final call out. I'm going to go pose by pose and break down who I think wins this show and why. Also, I'm going to break down the guys between third and sixth who were at second last call out as well. But let's get straight into it. I'm going to go pose by pose. Steve Kuclo, Nick Walker on the right, obviously, and let's get into the quarter turn. So on this side quarter turn, I don't have a shot from the back, but I had Nick Walker winning that as well. But you can see from the waist down, you can really see the difference there. Nick Walker has the glutes, he has the quads, and he has the hamstrings, and they're all completely separated. And, you know, Steve Kuclo is opening up more on this pose, upper body wise, but I still think Nick Walker wins that from the side there. Then you turn to the front, into the front relaxed, and you can see Steve Kuclo, for whatever reason, when he first came out, he looks sensational. Same thing happened in Texas as well. Then he sort of seems to fade a little bit. Now, obviously, the judges have him in the top two here, so they obviously think highly of him. And when Steve Kuclo is sort of in person, I see photos sort of off iPhones and stuff from the side and all that sort of stuff. And while he might have the angle in it, he sort of looks way bigger and way thicker. So I assume in person that he'd look way better. But by these comparisons, I have Nick Walker winning the front relaxed. And then I move on to the front double bicep. You can see the peaks on Nick Walker's biceps is what sort of stands out here, as well as his midsection. And he really has no room between his actual forearm and his biceps, and they still peak, which is absolutely crazy to say. Abs look great. I think he looks too hard and too complete in this pose for Steve Kuclo. We move on to the front lat spread. Now, Steve, shoulder to waist wise, looks great in this pose. I think he looks amazing. He's a taller bodybuilder as well. I think he's around 6 foot, and he just looks really good in terms of his overall structure here. But then your eyes are still drawn to Nick Walker and his freakiness across his arms, his shoulders, and even his chest. Even though he's got that sort of wider midsection a little bit as well, he just has so much muscle on his body, and the way he poses is a real sort of X-frame to his physique, even though he's shorter in stature. So the front lat spread I definitely give to Nick Walker as well. Side chest, same sort of story. I still give it to Nick Walker. He looks more complete. He is so thick on that upper body, and then he still has tons of muscle in his lower body. And like I said earlier, the separation between his hamstrings, quads, and glutes just sort of stands out there a little bit. Now the back double bicep. Now these poses from the back at least get a little bit shadowed, so it's sort of a little bit harder to judge. Like you look at Nick's legs, you can see the sort of detail on his leg back, but then you look at the rest of it, it's sort of a little bit shadowed there. But from the waist down, Nick wins it, and then from the waist up as well, Nick wins this pose. You can really see the bicep peaks on that back double bicep as well. Then we move on to the rear lat spread. Now, while Steve sort of makes up ground in terms of his structure on this pose, like the shoulder to waist and everything like that, he just doesn't get as hard through the back, and he doesn't have as many details as Nick does. So I would give this one to Nick once again. You guys can sort of tell the theme of this one. Now the side tricep, the video quality, it's a little bit poor here. Steve Kuclo really poses this one well. He brings his back shoulder around, creates more of that V-taper. He looks absolutely enormous on the side tricep. So I might give that one pose to Steve Kuclo, but I'd need to see it in a higher quality to actually make a judgment on that one. Then we move on to the ab and thigh. I would give this one to Nick Walker also. His abs are popping like crazy. He's got more detail. Even though Steve is the bigger guy and he still poses this one pretty damn well when he does the sort of different angles on it, I'd still give this one to Nick Walker. And then we move on to the most muscular. Nick is too hard. He still has tons of thickness, while Steve is the bigger guy overall just because he is, 6 foot tall and packs a ton of muscle. Got to give that one to Nick Walker as well. So I have Nick Walker winning the 2021 Arnold Classic. I'd like to hear all your opinions in the comments below on who you have winning this Arnold Classic. And I'll get on to some of the guys that were finishing sort of in those slightly lower placings from third down to sixth. And you've got Akim Williams in this call out. You've got Iain Valliere second on the left. Then you've got Justin Rodriguez second on the right. And then you've got Sergio Oliva Jr on the right. And I've got to tell you that, this is pretty close between all these guys. They all have different strengths and weaknesses. Now, Justin Rodriguez's shoulders look absolutely crazy, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not, because they do look a little bit pointy, in my opinion. They look a little bit crazy, so I don't know if they'll mark that down. It seems like they're not marking it down because he was in some favorable callouts. He had a huge amount of muscle, but I've got to tell you, a few of these guys looked a little bit thicker in the midsection as well. I won't name which one specifically, but you guys can make a judgment on that yourself. But a lot of these guys did look improved as well, so depends how much you mark them down for being a little bit thicker in the midsection, and depends how much you sort of mark them up for having that extra muscle mass. And when you see, these guys going through their poses, I think Akim Williams was sort of, breathing in and out a lot through his midsection. So I don't know if that's a posing endurance thing, because I have heard that he actually poses a lot and practices a lot, but it did seem like he was having a little bit more trouble controlling that. And then, some of these other guys as well, I think, like on the side chest, you see Iain Valliere absolutely killing it, but then on the front double bicep, I think that he's sort of losing it. So it's going to be a very tough decision for these judges actually, judging these guys from 3rd to 6th, because, money is on the line for these guys as well. And you got to wonder as well, how would William Bonac done if he did show up at this 2021 Arnold Classic? And I don't even want William to watch this, because if I was him, I would be absolutely heartbroken watching this as well. And I thought it would have been a battle between William Bonac and Nick Walker. So let me know who you have winning this 2021 Arnold Classic. Is it Steve Kuclo? Is it Nick Walker? Is it someone else? And do you think anyone's being overlooked in this lineup? If you guys like and appreciate this content, please give this video a thumbs up, smash that like button, also subscribe and hit the notification bell button. That way you'll be notified of every video that goes up from myself, Xavier Wills at Desktop Bodybuilding. So for Xavier Wills, Desktop Bodybuilding, we are out.